So we're back after Anthony just slammed 235 bench, which looks really, really nice. Press. And I know you were talking numbers before, potentially 245 in a few weeks' time. Could be there.
If we have a good comp day and not too quick some squats, I think 242, 245. Yeah. Based off of today at least.
So we'll go into a little bit about your build up into, say, this comp block over the, so a little bit more of a macro approach, the last few training blocks leading into this. Now I know one thing you said before that you've toyed around with is training frequency and volume. You're actually doing a little less work, especially with your bench press than in previous times. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so obviously I'm a lot stronger than I used to be. And just the recovery went out the window as the weights got up there. So people think, it's no secret, I went from tested to untested. Yeah. People think your recovery shoots way up, but I actually found it was the opposite just because the numbers shot way up. Yeah. So I actually increased the amount of days I train. So now I train 5 days, but it wasn't to add extra work in, that was just to spread the work out even more. So I actually squat less, do less volume on all the lists than ever. But I just had to spread it out so much more. So now I squat 3 days instead of 2. But it's literally the amount of work I do in 1 day back when I was in PA.
So it's probably the same amount of volume thereabouts, but just spread across the days to allow for a bit more recovery.
Yeah, spread out a lot more, and when I'm not in a comp block, obviously not peaking, I do a lot more variation, so a lot more high bar pause squats, things like that, just to try to artificially bring that intensity up without having to go super heavy.
That was it was something that I learned of Hanny Jazzarelli from TSA, that one of the most important variables with athletes is actually recovery. It's not so much how much you're giving, it's are they recovering from the work and adapting in a positive manner. And so as you said before, you went obviously untested, and people assume that you just recover because you're on untested, but you found that big spike in workload because now you're lifting way heavy weights is just cooking you.
Yeah, got to the point, man, where I know we tried squatting 3 days a week with higher volume, even in my off season. And after 2-3 weeks, I'm just begging for the workload to drop. I just, it goes from, doing RP 6-7s, and then after 2-3 weeks at those heavy weights and with the volume being high, it shoots up to 10. I'm missing reps straight away, and it's been a big learning experience. That's why I actually went to Joel, my coach from WA. He's strength geek and mister, but he's Dylan Halregal. He trains Dylan Halregal a lot and sees a lot of those big guys. So I went to him because he has a lot more conservative approach than I've ever had before. And that's why I approached him, because I knew that's what I needed. I couldn't take care of myself. When I coach myself, it's always, I just want to do more. And then I'm why am I going backwards? Why do I feel like crap all the time?
I think definitely coaching yourself, you have a little bit more of that emotional decision making where you're so you change things, and whereas having that objective viewpoint from an external coach is something that I definitely know I've benefited from, and obviously even guys at your level still benefit. The best athletes in the world have coaches pretty much. And
100%. I haven't coached myself much for years. I was going for my off season, and again, I went with Joel because I found I was just being emotional, I could just do more, But the big thing, I remember talking to Tyler, my business partner, my best mate, about it. I always sought out coaches that would let me do crazy amounts of work or crazy intensities all the time. And it's confirmation bias, right? I was looking at how they let people train. I was yeah, well, that's how I like to train. I like to train balls to the wall all the time. So I'd always seek out these coaches that'll let you do that. And this is the first time I was all right, I need to try something different now. And the progress has been outstanding.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's definitely, going against that bias. And, it's probably given you another avenue, and it's changed your perspective as a coach as well.
Oh, 100%.
Maybe people can progress on less volume and less, less total absolute load. I was going to ask, so build up the last few blocks leading into this comp block, what has it looked like? Bench frequency dropped. What did your last mesocycle look like? The one before that, leading into this comp block.
Peaking's the easy part. Yeah. Obviously, just doing singles and stuff, working up. That's pretty simple. A lot of it was trying to get my work capacity up. Yep. And not we're not talking about abs, doing extra volume. It's just being able to do more than 3 reps. Yeah. So for me, it was actually easy to milk gains just by increasing my work capacity with Joel. But a lot of it was trying to push to fatigue as much as we could, so I didn't have to lift as heavy. So I could train, you know, like weights feel heavy. It's like I'm under a heavy load when I don't have to, but really it's only like 300, 320. That was, I think, the main goal with Joel. It was a bit different of approach than I've ever had, but was really trying to, like, he had me, for one block, he had me deadlifting 3 days a week, just so I didn't have to really go above 310, 315. So 315 felt like 360. So but that was for 3 blocks. As in, we did that on squats, we did that on deads. So just trying to like push that fatigue so I didn't have to go as heavy, which is, again, very different to anything I've ever done. And something I like, Will Crozier was doing the same thing, like squatting heavy the day before deads, like 12 hours before deads. So kind of same idea. But again, that was the first time I've ever had that kind of approach.
Right, so drop the absolute intensity, increase frequency. So you're doing lighter loads, you're training more frequently.
Yeah.
So you're doing more work probably across the week and increasing that work capacity.
Yeah, and even then, man, like it's not even like for someone else, it probably isn't that much work. So we're talking like on day 1, I do like 3 sets of deads, but that's a lot for me. And then day 2, I do 3 or 4 sets of 2 or 3, and I'm wrecked by that. And then I think the biggest volume day would be like 4x4, but it's still a huge amount.
Yeah, it's always relative to the individual, and as long as you're progressing, that's the main thing, and you're getting better. And it looks like you're about to, slam through every single PR that you've ever hit before. You're hitting weekly PRs in this comp block.
With the peak, it's been real simple, man. As always, like just trying to reduce fatigue as much, and literally like almost no back offs, just little singles, maybe a couple doubles, and that's it. And that'll go through for 8 weeks. So like real minimal now.
One thing that we didn't really haven't touched on, you touched on your squat and your bench, was your deadlift. What kind of numbers have you been hitting throughout the peak and even previous to the peaking cycle?
On deads?
Deads, yeah.
Previous to the peaking cycle, the biggest dead I did was like 325. Within like 15, 16 weeks.
And what was your PR? What was your current PR at that time?
Without straps, 360.
360, yeah.
And that was for like a triple, a real hard triple. And now, last week I hit 370, which is a PB without straps. I've done 400 in straps, but again, my grip strength is my weakest point. So like it doesn't really reflect in my normal deadlift.
You'll be able to do that in comp is another question.
No chance. I'd be happy with like 380, 370, like would be a good day.
Is there anything you're going to do specifically to work on grip strength, or just keep deadlifting more?
Man, we've been trying, like we've been doing dead hangs, long holds, like just like shrugs, like barbell shrugs and stuff, double overhand. We did a lot of grip work, and it just like, maybe added 10 kilos to my grip strength. Like it's something I've always struggled with though, so I've always been limited by that. So when I deadlifted 320, I could do 340. When I deadlifted 340, I could do 360, and so on. After comp, we're actually talking about it. We're going to do a big run with, now that we're on a deadlift bar, I've got pretty little hands and fingers, as you can see. Like I got like sausage fingers. Yeah, they're tiny, man. But now that we're on the deadlift bar, I can actually do hook. Comfortably.
The bar's thinner.
Well, comfortably, as comfortable as hook can be. But yeah, because the bar's thinner, so we're going to give hook a proper run. Like I've pulled 320 hook on a stiff bar, and it felt all right. But I think like actually doing it on a deadlift bar, giving that a good run.
With the thinner bar. Did you ever try hook on the Alico?
Yeah.
I did. Did it? How'd it go?
Yeah, I got up to 320, but it was pretty. Like that was after trying it for a few weeks, so like I think the strength will be there with it. It's just about committing to it.
Okay, well, we're definitely interested to see how you go. Comp is 3.5 weeks away.
Yeah,
and
Feb 21.
Where's it being held?
PTC HQ. So yeah, in like Frankston, Carrum Downs.
Perfect. Done. We might even head down.
Come down, man. It'll be good. Like put on a good show.
Watch you lift some big weights. But yeah, man, we wish you congratulations and best of luck.
Cheers, man. Thank you.
Thanks for coming down.
Cheers for having me.
If anyone wants to reach you, where's the best place?
Just Instagram. It is the Australian Yeti. So
and the gym, Apex?
Apex Strength. So
Coburg.
It's just Apex Powerlifting on Instagram.
Yeah, perfect. Done. Thanks for tuning in today. It was awesome to have Anthony come down, smash out a big bench PR. We're going to look to do a few more of these videos with some special guests over the coming months, so we're really excited. But big thanks to Anthony for coming out. And as always, like, subscribe, share the content. If you've got any ideas for us, always leave them in the comments below. And as always, happy lifting.